Hey guys, welcome. Hi guys, James Young. There's an obsession in the UK about buying a house. All you hear from the media is buy a house, buy a house. Have you bought a house? We'll help you buy a house. Let's buy a house. We really need to help you buy a house. Have you bought a house yet? If you haven't bought a house, we can help you buy a house. You get the idea, right? Why do the government want you to buy a house? I know what it is. When you buy a house, you get a mortgage. When you get a mortgage, you have to work to pay back the mortgage. So, why do they want you to work? Oh, hang on, they want you to pay tax. So, it's funny that the government want you to buy a house to make sure you have to earn money to pay your mortgage, which all inadvertently gets them lots of tax, which they then spend. So, don't buy a house. And you're going to think I'm mad. So I'm sure you're going to whack the dislike button because everyone is obsessed with buying a house. But I've got an alternative for you. Okay. Rent. Rent, rent, and rent. Now I'm going to show you why. Okay, average UK house price is, well, let's say 225,000. Let's say 250. Let's say 250. 250,000. Okay? So you're going to have to put down 10%. So 25,000 pounds down as your deposit. Okay. And then forever, you're going to pay somewhere around £1,000 a month in rent. Sorry, in mortgage. Okay, so you're like, well, if I rent, I'm just going to pay someone's mortgage. Yeah, but wait. Okay, so eventually you take out 25 years. In 25 years, you will have paid back this money, which will be around, you haven't paid £250,000 for a house. You're going to have paid somewhere around 350,000. Let me just check my sums. Obviously, it all depends on, yeah, it's around £350,000. So you pay £100,000 extra for the privilege. You're seeing how this works out now. You ain't bought a house for 250. You're paying 350. Okay. So what's the alternative? Right. Well, generally you can rent for a little less. So let's say like £950 a month. Yeah. Okay. That is your only outgoing. You just pay the rent. Because the person that owns the house has got to do, now the average maintenance bill on a £250,000 house is around £9,850 a year. Okay, you're seeing how this starts to work now. You'll have, all the other stuff will be the same. Electricity, council tax, gas bills, you know, all the sundries you'll have to pay whether you rent or buy. But you won't have the maintenance. That's maintenance. Okay, let's try, we're trying to keep this really simple. Okay, so let's say you rent, right? So if you rent, you have got your deposit. You got £25,000. Yeah? You've also got the difference between rent and deposit. So per month, you're probably plus 100 a month better off, because you can rent cheaper than you can when you buy, right? So just a little. Let's just say a little. Plus each year, you don't have to spend that. So you got 9,850 per year. right? You've got cash. What are you going to do? What's the best thing to do with cash, or what can you do with cash? This is easy. You take your 25,000, yeah, plus sundries, plus this, yeah, and let's say you get S&P 500, yeah. Okay, now S&P 500, since eternity, has given out 5.9% annual return. Okay, if you stick your 25,000 plus sundries, and every time, each year, you top up with your 9,000 and the £100 a month you save, if you bought the house, you end up with a house worth 350,000. If you put in these numbers and get the 5.9% that the S&P has returned since it began, you're not going to believe how much you get. You will have £1 million. Are you going to buy the house? Or are you going to go, I'll just rent. And in 25 years' time, you'll have in your trading account 1 million. It's as simple as that. It's as simple as that. There are obviously there's variables. You know, will you get the 5.9? Will you pay off your mortgage early? How much is the fee to arrange your mortgage? Will the interest rate stay at £1,000? Will it go up? Will it go down? You know, I understand there's variables, but you got to think about when someone's trying to get you to do something, who's the customer? If the government gets you to buy the house, which they're obsessed with doing, what's their end game? They want, the difference between that has probably gone in tax money. Tax money, pension money. They need to prop up this property market, keep lots of demand, keep you working, because you've got to pay your mortgage, right? Otherwise you lose your house. Oh, massive pressure. Whereas if you don't make rent, you move out. When that roof needs redoing, when you rent, landlord picks it up. When that wall needs when the garden needs doing, when the kitchen needs refitting, when the bathroom needs to be redone. Who does it? The landlord does it. Not you. You just pay the rent. Yet in the UK, they are obsessed, this is the government, obsessed, and everyone now is obsessed, because they've been brainwashed into buying a house. So I strongly recommend, the worst thing you can do is take a mortgage. The worst decision you can make in life is taking that mortgage. Seriously. I know you're going to whack the dislike now. You're going to hit that dislike so many times. Well, you can only hit it once. But just think about this. You can do the maths yourself. It's pretty simple calc. 25 years, boom, boom. One, you end up with £1 million, £1,000,000. And one, you end up with a house. Well, you paid £350,000 for a £250,000 house. It's simple maths, guys. Simple maths. If you want to buy a house, I do have one recommendation. You have to be able to buy it outright. So if you've got £25,000, unless you can find a £25,000 house, you ain't buying a house. You're renting. So it's why in the States they're super clever. Trailer parks. They bought the trailer outright, stick it on the trailer park, they rent a little bit of ground, pay for the services, and guess what? They're quids in. They have the $1 million trading accounts. Us mugs in the UK, We're so brainwashed into taking out a huge mortgage and having to find that mortgage payment on a monthly basis. We fall for it every time, and they just can't help you enough to get on that property ladder and play the property programs on the television. They just cannot help you enough. And it's because they want you to be in debt, because then you have to work and you have to keep the whole economy rolling. I mean, I simplified this, but you know, you have to simplify things, right, to make it make sense. Just try 5.9 versus this. I got an interesting number for you. So if you read property prices, so over 25 years, prices have gone from 125,000 average UK price to 250, right? So they'll be like, oh, doubled, 200%, or they'll make up some crazy number, right? Do you know how much that is over 25 years? From 125 to 250, it's like it's no, I did it. It's 2 point, got the math here somewhere, 2.85% to make that into that over 25 years. S&P's getting 5.9. I'll tell you why there's a difference. This is just 2.5% return on your house price, right? Each year crawls up, yeah? And why is it less than S&P? Or say, you know, the S&P 500 has the 500 top companies in the world. End of story, right? So they grow the best. House prices, you got Clacton-on-Sea, you got Liverpool, you got London, you got places in Wales no one ever wants to live and never will live. That's why the return is better on the S&P 500 versus house prices. And if you want to come out of this quids in, buy the S&P with your deposit money and pay the rent. There's nothing more I can say. I'll go through this again in a couple of months. I'll try and picture it another way for you if it doesn't make sense this time. I'm sure you're going to whack the dislike because everyone's obsessed with buying a house, or if they bought a house, they're going to hit the dislike because they're going to hate what I've just told them. And if you don't know how to invest in the S&P, I'm going to do a video on that. It's real easy. And I'll show you how you can make your $1 million in 25 years' time. James Young, like and subscribe, or I'm sure you've whacked the dislike. Tell me why. And I'll see you in the next one.